Right then, to our next story. You know, Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka is no stranger to controversy. He has seen it all over time. His latest statement on the outcome of the 2023 presidential poll was going to set him against the major and minor commentators in our country. At Stellenbosch, that's a place in faraway South Africa, the laureate, speaking at an event titled The Lives of Wole Soyinka, organized by a group Africa in the World, said in the most emphatic fashion that the leadership of the Labour Party knows that Peter Obi, its presidential candidate, lost the February 25 election. He added the party, quote, is trying to force a lie on Nigerians, end quote. Now, obviously, this was going to provoke millions across the country. Or what do you think, Wole?
Well, I think Professor Wole Soyinka has been one of the main actors in Nigerian radical politics since 1960s. And nobody can take away his iconic milestones, you know, in the area of politics, in the area of arts, even personal integrity. In my own opinion, he remains the conscience of the nation, you know, based on his consistency and the difficulties he has passed through from the age of 20 as a Nigerian. At the time, he was in solitary confinement for 2 years. I don't think any Nigerian has ever passed through that traumatic experience before. So he's someone that commands a lot of respect.
In solitary confinement by choice?
Yes, because he was seen as supporting Biafra, you know, and he was put in solitary confinement by the military government of General Gowon. And he also said he wanted to be a non-government actor to negotiate between Biafra and Nigeria. And he sneaked all the way from Southwest, passing through, you know, the dark hours of the night, to go to Biafra to meet Ojukwu at that very difficult moment, risking his life. So for anybody who understands his history, Professor Soyinka is not a gullible person. It's not somebody you can buy off. It's not a commodity you can buy.
It's not frivolous.
He may say something you don't like, but you can't take his integrity from him. So what he has said about the last election is his opinion. Just like everyone, every Nigerian has his own opinion. You may not agree with him, but I don't think resorting to verbal terrorism is the answer. If someone has said something you don't like, engage him on the realm of ideas, on the realm of logic, and maybe you are able to defeat him. Certain things he said, which I think are factual. He said Atiku and Obi were partly responsible for their own political Waterloo because they were in one political party, but they decided to split votes into two. Can you fault that? 6 million plus 6 million would have been 12 million plus. That would have been more than what the current president. Yeah. And they were in the same political party. But now, 2 broken into 3, you know, cannot be stronger than one that is old.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's a fact. And also the fact that Obi took over the labor movement. Yes. But in the redefinition of labor movement, Obi is not a proletarian and even should not even have led the working class. He was not part of the NLC history that dates back to more than half a century. He was not part of any labor struggle in this country. So emerging as the presidential candidate of Labour Party does not automatically makes him, you know, a proletarian, you know, fighting for the working class. Yes, it's not known in that sense. That's the truth.
That is a bourgeoisie.
It's a bourgeoisie. It's, you know, it's a capitalist who is using the Labour Party as a vehicle to achieve his aim. So that one is a fact. And also the fact that Labour Party, Labour Party eventually became regionalized. Well, you have to look at the voting pattern. Labour Party secured more votes in the southeast than any other part. Maybe not the making of Obi, but eventually that was what happened. So I think those, you may dislike, you may shout, but those are facts. So if you think you agree or you disagree, then you can take it on, you know, based on the premise of his argument, and then you may fault his conclusion. But I think what he said, I don't think there's anything that we can categorize as an insult or it's not true. So for people attacking him that he's partisan, Soyinka is not a member of APC. And he has lambasted APC on several occasions, that we have seen, So I think people should be patient, when people criticize you. We are in a democracy. If you don't like somebody's opinion, that does not mean that you must detest or hate that person. The best you can do is to engage the person, and coming out with a superior argument.
Dr. The platform on which he spoke tells it all. Wole Soyinka, the lives of Wole Soyinka, the lives and times, if you like, of Wole Soyinka. He has seen it all. Remember in 1963, with a loaded gun, he went to the broadcasting house. He was not attached to any party at the time and meant to stop the broadcast, which he considered not real. So could that Wole have changed with age? You think age is a factor here?
I'm not sure.
Because some of his critics are asking, wisdom, no be age, come with age, doesn't it?
It's supposed to come with age. And what the man has said, if we put it to a debate, they are the realities on ground. You may not like...
Well, many people will not.
You may not
agree with what you're saying.
You may not like his language, but when we put all of those things down and we do analysis, the big question to ask is, are they right or wrong? I've been covering politics in Nigeria for so many years. And the expectation when the People's Democratic Party was going to have its convention to choose its presidential candidate, the months before it, was that it was going to go to a southerner. Peter Obi saw the handwriting on the wall very early and left. Because, like I also argued, if you throw open a contest in the PDP for the presidential ticket, who is likely to be able to take it from Atiku? Because that's the big question. But the question also on the Atiku side is, even if you have the capacity to take that ticket, is that justice to the southern part of the country that backed you to run when you did, even after leaving the party earlier? You came back, you were supported, you were given a Peter Obi to run with you, and he brought some
a measurable chunk,
to your tickets. You had goodwill that he brought to your tickets, and it was like, okay, if you win, maybe you do 4 years and hand over to somebody from the south. That did not work. What people were expecting, logically, was that it would go to the south. If that had happened, there would also still have been a problem within the PDP, because it's not a sealed...
Also, you think?
Also, I know. Because it's not sealed. Because when you now come back and say, okay, Atiku has stepped down at that time, will Anuye Somwike allow a Peter Obi to emerge candidate in the PDP? I don't know if you are getting this point. There are so many... PDP as itself was at that time not a good vehicle for anybody who wanted to run. Because even if Atiku had not run at that time, Obi would not have gotten it.
Okay.
And then he knew. That was why he left. And found a platform that was ready to accept him. Because PDP was not fair. Even the APC to the sitting president also was not fair. Because he threw it open. And I knew from the onset when we started the debate on this issue that if anybody was going to get that ticket among those running, it was going to be Bola Tinubu. Because we know the capacity of these people. Whichever way you are looking at it, it was going to be the two of them in those parties. What I was expecting was that after all of it happened in the PDP, Atiku would have made a lot of concessions, and the party itself. That would have pacified people like Wike. That could have pacified somebody like Obi. And they say, okay, let's come to the table and decide who is going to be the candidate.
Yeah.
If the candidate fails, they said they wanted the national chairmanship of their party. You did not give it. So when you look at the points that Professor Soyinka made, they are quite clear. You can't have a divided house and expect to defeat somebody with a whole house and who had been preparing for this position for well over 10 years. So it's not about the attack or the rest. But for me, if you ask me, the drama is good.
Okay.
Professor Soyinka is shooting. Let them keep shooting. It's good. Everybody should be allowed to talk. It's democracy.
So it keeps,
it's just that the mob
keeps people busy.
Yes, it's just that the mob mentality where you don't even make your point. You only abuse. That's the one I'm against.
Wale, but in a statement signed by the National Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party, Pastor Obiora Ilo, the party said the literary giant may as human express his thoughts which may have been informed by emotion or narrative put to him. You felt that?
Yeah, I don't see how emotion comes into play. And saying that, express emotion does not address the issues raised. I was expecting the Labour to come out with figures, with facts. And of course, don't also forget that Professor Soyinka said something good about Obi. He said he created the momentum. And nobody can take that away from him.
Not even in the next election.
And in fact, he challenged the hegemony. A new person just coming like that and then getting, within the shortest time possible, 6.something million. That is, I mean, in a way, it's a revolutionary intervention.
We've not had it in this country
that
before.
means that there is a politician that needs to be watched, either now or in the future, that can still make an impact. So he said it, that he recognized that significant role that Peter Obi played in the last election, which I think all of us can never throw away.
All right. Well, the future will tell. The future will tell. Dotun, I defer to you. It keeps the people busy.
It does, really.
Yeah.
And we'll keep talking about it.
Okay, then. To our next issue. Now, if the statement of the president of the